We are going to show you how to make Amish white bread. We can show you that you can make Amish white bread in 5 minutes or less into dough, and then you have to put it in pan. So Karis is going to demonstrate how to make Amish white bread. She made it yesterday and she found it pretty easy. Okay, Karis, she's going to first add to our KitchenAid mixer bowl 2 cups of water. That's pretty warm water so that the yeast will grow. And then she's going to add 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. That's 1 tablespoon, and that's 1/2. Next, she's going to add 2/3 a cup of sugar. She has that pre-measured. And there you go. Is it all in there? Mm-hmm. All right, and she's going to add 1/4 cup of oil, and before we add the flour, she'll add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. She has her 1.5 teaspoons. That's right. Now the tricky part is, on top of all that, you'll notice we just put it all in the bowl. It's all in there, all mucked up. Doesn't even look like it's right. But that's what we did. We just threw it all in there. Now she's going to take and add, the recipe says 6 cups of flour, but I find that it usually takes 7. So we're going to add 7 cups of leavened. This is just all-purpose. Go ahead and add it, Karis. All-purpose, make sure you count though. All-purpose flour. Nothing special, not bread flour or nothing. So she's just going to add her 7 cups there. It's 4 o'clock right now, and we need to have this bread ready. We can have it ready by 6 o'clock. We can have it ready by 5:30. It doesn't take that long. So she's going to add her flour, and then she's going to turn it on and mix it. And after we mix it, that'll be our kneading. After we're done kneading it, it'll sit in the bowl and it'll rise just a little bit. Depends how much time you have. Sometimes it rises a lot. Sometimes we don't have much time to let it rise at all. And then after it rises, we punch it back down, put it in bread pans, and let it rise a little bit more, and we'll bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. And when we take it out of the oven, I just put butter on the top to make the top nice and golden brown. So what number are you on, Karis?
6.
6. 1 more cup. She's a good cook. Okay, Karis, connect it.
Where's the dough?
That took 3 minutes, but we're missing the dough hook. So let's see what we got here. There's just flour on top of all that mess. And we're not quite prepared because we don't have our dough hook. So we'll come back in 1 minute. Right, we found our dough hook. She put it on, and she's just going to put on low until the contents start sticking together a little bit. So let's look at what it looks like when it's mixing. So there you go. See, it's going to take a while because all the liquid stuff is at the bottom. Believe it or not, this actually works. This is how I always make Amish white bread, and everyone usually loves it. So it's very easy to make. And it'll just keep mixing and mixing and mixing. Okay, and that'll mix probably for not very long, maybe 2 minutes. So I'll come back when we have it kind of mixed. This is probably illegal, but I put my mixer on setting 4 for the final mixing. Not too long. Just let it beat it really good. It saves you from having to do any kind of kneading outside of the bowl. Now back down to level 2, and I just let it knead for a little bit. Sometimes I'll clean up the ingredients that I got out for the bread, or do something else and just let it do its kneading. I'll probably let it knead for probably 3 minutes total, from the beginning to the end. And you can see that it's forming. It's really soft looking and smooth. It's not. If you find your bread is real wet, just add more flour. Usually it's more wet than dry. But this is with 7 cups of flour, and it looks like it's a perfect ball of dough. Next we'll stop the mixer, and I'll just oil the bowl and cover it, the dough. So here it is in the bowl. and I'll show you how long I'll let it rise today. I don't have too long, so it won't rise. I won't let it rise too much. Alright, this is how big it's gotten. We accidentally started pulling apart before we were ready. So it's grown a little bit. So Karis is going to film how I put this in the pans. I'm going to pull a little piece out because Karis, focus down here because she wants to make a pretzel out of it. Makes good pretzel dough. So I'm going to take my dough and just, I'm going to divide it into 2 pieces. I just kind of guesstimate like that. One's usually a little bigger, but it's okay. And then I wrap it up a little bit like that, tuck all the edges in, and I put it in a prepared pan that I sprayed with cooking spray. So I just push it in there. I'm going to spray this pan. Take my other dough, do that a little bit. For some reason I do that. Tuck everything in, push it down, and then we'll just let it sit. It probably could rise just 30 minutes before you cook it. I let it sit in this bowl for about 30 minutes, and it grew that much. Karis, why don't you show what it looks like in the pans? Alright, we'll show you what it looks like when it's risen. I've covered it so that it doesn't dry out while it rises. Well, it's been about 15 minutes since I put them in the pans, but they're already ready to go. You don't want them to go too high because they're going to rise in the oven a little bit, and this bread is better when it's dense and not light and airy. So I'll let it rise a little bit. You can see the last rewind and see the last how it looked. So we'll just put this in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. Here's the finished product in the pans. You can see how much they've risen over the pan. And I'll show you what it looks like out of the pan in a few minutes. Here we have it. Homemade Amish bread.